Hey guys, I'm back with another video. You know what? When I made the first video that I made a few days ago, let me see, it was called Understanding the Response Curve in a White Noise Loudspeaker Test. Well, there's one thing I forgot to mention or talk about in that video, and that was wavelengths. Basically, what is a wavelength and how it works. So, in this video, I'm going to actually explain that. So I'll try to make this as short as possible because it could get very complicated. When you start talking about wavelengths and the different types of wavelengths, especially in sound. So I'll try to sum this up as quickly as possible. So what I really wanted to talk about was just the wavelength in general. It's the basic of it when it comes to sound. So right here, I have created a chart so to make it easier for you, so you can see what I'm talking about and actually how wavelengths work. So what I have here is the same test that I did with the MB1 loudspeaker. So basically, I'm just going to explain how what a wavelength is and how it works. So, okay, basically right here, this is a wavelength. And there are basically two types of wavelength. There's a transverse wavelength and there's a longitudinal wavelength. As you can see, it's kind of hard to pronounce, but it's called longitudinal wavelength. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong, but yeah. So basically, that's the wavelength that is used in sound. And basically, a wavelength is the distance between 2 points. So, for example, right here, this would be a point, and this would be a point also. But I usually call them peaks. A lot of people call them peaks, but the correct term, I guess the professional term would be actually crest. So yes, crest is basically between the 2 points. So I'll put this right here like this. So this is what a crest is. It's from this point right here to this point, and you get the, like a cone shape. So that's called a crest, and that's the distance between 2 points. So that's is a wavelength. So basically, when you look at sound and when you look at this chart that was, taken with the response of this loudspeaker, you can actually see the wavelengths in action. So basically, the longer the wavelength is, the lower the frequency is, and the shorter the wavelength is, the higher the frequency is, as you can see. And just to give you an example of that, when you look at this chart, when you look at the low frequencies, you notice how the wavelengths are pretty long, as you can see right here. And then as the wavelength go, it gets shorter and shorter. And the reason why these wavelengths get shorter and shorter because they get higher in frequency. So the higher the frequency, the shorter the wavelengths are. So, for example, I'm going to look at the low frequency right here, which is from 50 hertz to, I don't know, I think it might be 300 hertz right here, but as you can see, the wavelengths is long. So basically, that means these are the lower frequencies. But as you go up, you notice the wavelengths starts to get shorter and shorter. And I guess this would be like maybe 500 hertz. And then the longer you go, the wavelengths get even shorter. So basically, this is where you get the distance between two wavelengths. You have this point right here, as you can see. Let's see if I can move it on, kind of clear it up a little bit so you see easier to see it for you guys. Okay. Put it right there. So there you go. So basically, this wavelength right here, as you can see, is a lot shorter than the other wavelengths because you're going up in response and frequency, so it's a bit higher. So again, this would be called the crest right here. And again, these are the 2 points between the wavelengths. So this is a wavelength right here. And then the higher you go up in frequencies, the wavelengths get shorter and shorter, and you have these peaks. So basically, that's what a wavelength is. And this is how you can tell, the the response of a wavelength, if it's at a higher frequency or it's a lower frequency, because you can see it from the chart yourself. You can see it gets shorter and shorter as it goes up in sound. And by it going up in sound, you are able to, see the response curve of the wavelengths. So I guess that's pretty much it. I just wanted to really explain just the basic of it. I mean, there's so much to it that there's so much micro detail when it comes to wavelengths and how they operate, and how they operate in hertz and cycles. It just really gets really deep. But I just wanted to just explain the basic concept of it and how they work and how they are measured in sound. So that's about it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I just want to give you guys just a quick sample of what I left out in the other video. So I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you guys later. Okay, goodbye.